from all around Geelong. I'm here to tell you how football is strong.
And welcome back. Well, of course, we've got no footy action on this weekend. It's Easter, and we have a very special guest in the studio. And with Tom King and I, we've got the coach of the Inverleigh Hawks, Mark McDowell. G'day, Mark. How you going, mate?
How you going, Dick?
Off to a pretty good start. Lost the first round against Belpost Hill, but a really good, convincing win against the East Geelong Eagles on Saturday.
Yeah, we've got off really well, and the whole club's really excited about the way we've started, but there's a long way to go, and we've got a game coming up against Bannockburn, which is going to be pretty important to the club.
Tommy, it was, as I said, a good win against East Geelong on Saturday, but nothing to take it away from the loss to Belpost Hill. We're still going to be a good side, but it's great to see the Hawks get off to a pretty reasonable start this year.
Yeah, especially last year, of course, as we know, were basically wooden spooners at three-quarter time of the final round last year before getting over the top of the Belmont Lions and winning 3 games very late to ensure that they avoided the spoon and getting Mark in. Obviously, 2013 so turbulent for the club. Mark, Dale Smith lasting, our great mate, the Whale lasting a month before pulling the pin on the job. Clayton Trotter took over. And I suppose you and I spoke in the off-season, and I think it was basically a green field for everybody. It was a bare canvas, and we start again.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So I just come in new to the club, and all the history goes out the window, and it's just start from a clean slate and just assess the players, and been really happy with what I've seen from the players. Their endeavour's been first class. They're really hungry to win. And so far that's been what's portrayed out in the field in the first 2 games.
Yeah, just ignore Dick because he's acting like his name right now with that Easter bunny. What enticed you to the Inverleigh job? What made you, obviously after your time at Corio, coming across, obviously with Corio you didn't have the success that you'd hoped for. You'd got a lot of kids senior footy, but what was the lure to get to Inverleigh and rebuild there?
Oh, there's no doubt the lure was, I had involvement with the GDFL Talent Academy last year, and so I was familiar with a couple of the kids that played at Inverleigh, and I knew that they were really talented, so that was a real lure with the young squad at Inverleigh. I really enjoy working with the younger players, and we've got a lot of them, and they're going really well.
Dick, do you or the bunny have a question?
Mate, how long have you been at Inverleigh now?
This year, 1 year.
This is your first year?
Yep.
You were at Corio last year, is that right?
Correct, yeah.
The transition between going from an inner city club, basically, out to the country, is it a good feeling out there? Like with the country town and the local pub and the local traders, everything behind you out there, is it a good feeling?
Yeah, there's certainly a different atmosphere in terms of you've got that town behind the club. The supporters are really passionate, and it's just that town identity that really gives it a different vibe, and you've got to travel out of town a bit, but it's been really positive so far.
Some of the new players you've picked up out here, give us a bit of a rundown. Is there any one that is standing out at the moment that we should be watching out for?
Oh, look, we've been really happy with our recruitment. We've picked up Blake Hutchison, who's in really good nick and playing really good football, played the first 2 games and played extremely well.
Where did he come from?
Originally North Geelong.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. We don't mind giving players away, mate.
Yeah, well, he's a class act. Yeah. He's, as you know, he's had some injury problems over the years. He was an All-Australian when he was 16, so, class footballer. Picked up Brad Anderson, who we've been playing down back, who's, hasn't played for 3 or 4 years and doing a sterling job. Picked up a couple of boys from Geelong West in Nathan Robbins and Tim Dwyer, doing really well. Billy Nichols is over with us. Unfortunately, he hurt his calf in the first game, but he's just had been a massive influence over the guys at the club. He just brings that AFL experience to the club, and he's just a dead set natural leader. So he's been made a big impact on the club as well.
Mark, last Saturday, of course, you led by 15 points at three-quarter time, and for most of us looking at the live scores that weren't at the ground, they would have gone, it's a good effort by Inverleigh. East Geelong will probably run over the top of them, especially with what the Eagles had done to Thompson the week before. But to hold your nerve, kick 5 in the last, you must have been wrapped with the way the boys applied themselves from three-quarter time onwards.
Oh, look, to be quite honest, both games I've been really proud of the way they've played. They've played with intensity and played a really accountable game of football. We come up a bit short in the first game. I knew that run would do us the world of good for the next game against East Geelong, and I was really confident at three-quarter time. I just felt with the young, enthusiastic kids that we've got in the side, that they'd be able to run and run the game right out, which is what happened in the end.
Looking ahead, of course, Bannockburn on Anzac Day, but I think you've got also Thompson, Geelong West. So those middle tier sides from last year, all very winnable games. You could find yourself after round 5 potentially 4-1.
Yeah, well, it's a possibility, and I think it's just a matter of us, maintaining that standard that we've set in the first couple of games. That's the challenge to the group. But the reality of the situation is that we've got Bannockburn coming up, and there's a strong rivalry there. I know over the years that Inverleigh hasn't had too much success there, so it's another big speed hump that we need to get over, and we know it's going to be a massive game, and we're just got to go there and bring the same intensity, and hopefully things go our way and we get over the line.
Because outside of finals, the Anzac Day clash is the biggest clash on our calendar. Inverleigh haven't played in a grand final in this current incarnation since coming back in the early 2000s. Do you pump it up as that? You say, guys, you've got the eyes of the GDFL watching you this weekend because we are the standalone game?
Oh, look, I don't think I need to pump it up. The feeling and the vibe that I'm getting from the club is that it's an extremely important game for them because of that rivalry. So I don't think it needs to be pumped up. I think it'll be pumped up as it is. My focus will be with the players is to play football and the brand of football that we want them to play, and we'll just focus on that and go about our business and executing, what our plan is and how we're going to play, what our matchups are, and all that sort of stuff, and that's what the focus will be.
Anderson to Tom Mullane Grant.
Yes.
It's a pretty easy matchup, isn't it? Tom's obviously Tom's come straight back 7-3.
Yeah.
It's going to be a key matchup.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, as I said before, Brad Anderson's just been a real revelation. He's played 2 really good games. He's a really good footballer, and I think Bisso probably should have a look at him in terms of interleague. He's the sort of player that you can just send to, your opponent's best player, and he'll get the job done. So I'm extremely confident that he can do well against Tom, but obviously that depends on the supply. If he's getting hit laces out and there's not pressure on the ball carrier going into the forward line, it'll make it really hard for Ando. So that's where it's going to, that's what it's going to get down to. It's our midfielders putting pressure on the ball carrier so that the delivery isn't laces out.
Mark, thanks very much for coming in this morning. Really appreciate it, and good luck for the Inverleigh Hawks for the rest of the year, and particularly Anzac Day next week. It's a very special day, very solemn day, and I attended the game last year, and it's just a massive thing that the clubs do, and I think it'll be really, really well done. But good luck to your boys for the rest of the year, and thanks for coming in again.
Okay, thanks Dick, thanks for that, thanks for having me.
No problem, mate. Mark McDowell, a very special guest this morning, the coach of the Inverleigh Hawks. Tommy, thanks for coming in, mate.
Been great to be here, Dick. It's a cameo appearance I make, but look forward to making a few more throughout season 2014.
Always love to have you on, mate, particularly with that K-Rock jacket on, mate. A bit of a plug there from the K-Rock football team.
Midday today, Collingwood and North Melbourne, an Easter Saturday special.
Oh, massive game. Don't worry about that. Thanks for your company, folks. I hope you have a very happy Easter with all of your loved ones. Have a nice Easter egg. The big fellas can have a couple. Don't worry about that. We'll see you all again next week. Bye for now.
From all around Geelong, I'm here to tell you how football is strong. Bounce the ball, let's get into it.